in a small New Hampshire town, we'll say, there was a general store. And that general store had been in that town for, I don't know, 50 years, a couple generations. And the current owners were a hardworking husband and wife team. They loved their work. They loved going to the store every day. They loved interacting with the community. They really enjoyed what they did. One Saturday evening, they were home for dinner. The store was closed, and their home phone rang. And the voice at the other end identified themselves as an attorney for a big company out of New York, a big retailer. And they said, we know you got a pretty good thing going on with that general store. What we want to do is we want to buy you out. And, you know, you'll never have to work again in your life based on the price we're willing to give you for your store. It's a great offer. I kind of gave him the Marlon Brando. It's an offer you can't refuse. So quickly, the thoughts raced through the owner's mind, and he put the phone down. And, he covered the speaker, and he said to his wife, he said, "Buyout offer. Should we retire? I mean, we'll see what it's all about, but what do you think?" And she didn't even answer. So he continued to hear, and he said, "Well, you know what? We love what we do. So we're going to have to decline. We want this store to stay in our family for generations, and we don't want to see anything happen to it. We want to give it to our children." So the voice at the other end got silent, said, "Okay, well, that's too bad." And the owner said, "What do you mean it's too bad?" He said, "Well, we'll just have to put you out of business." So what do you mean you'll put me out of business? He said, "Well, we own the parcel to the left of you. We own the parcel to the right of you. And we'll simply build around you. And when you go out of business, we'll buy your building out of foreclosure, and we'll finish our store. But if that's the way it has to be, that's the way it has to be." And he hung up. So sure enough, true to his word, the company started building. They broke ground. Several months later, they were putting together their big grand opening and their ribbons and their balloons, and they had this big marketing blitz. So the owners were kind of like, "All right, it's here, it's happening. What can we do?" But see, what that big retailer didn't count on was that small business owner was really savvy. He always took in new ideas. He was always thinking. Both him and his wife, both of them, were always thinking. They were always working hard, always learning. And they said, "Let's think. There's got to be something we can do." And they know that the little things make a big difference, right? Did everybody agree with that? Yes or yes? Little things make a big difference? Right. So they said, "Here's what we'll do." And everything, all the balloons, all the hoopla, everything was going on, and their store was right in the middle. So they got their own banner made. You know, the company had the grand opening banners and now open and come on in. So they got their own banner made, and their banner said, they hung it right up on their building, it said, "Main Entrance." Now, it's a fun story, but it illustrates that the little things really do matter. And what we'll learn today is a little thing. Now, some people don't really, they look at mobile marketing and they wonder, well, what is it? They're not really sure. I promise you by the time you're done today, you'll have a complete understanding of it. You'll understand how to apply it to your business. You'll understand even if it makes sense to apply it to your business. But I want you also to know that mobile marketing, and now it just becomes one other category, right? You have print marketing. You have, direct mail marketing, which is a sort of a kind of print marketing. You have internet marketing. You have social media marketing. You have broadcast marketing, TV and radio. Am I missing any? You have networking marketing. It's just one other thing that fits into that. What J. Abraham calls a Parthenon. Parthenon had several pillars that held it up. Well, mobile marketing is just one other pillar on that Parthenon. That's actually really important to understand about all forms of marketing. A lot of people get confused. Well, is that the next new thing? And they kind of run that way, and then they forget about the other pillars. No, it's just another pillar. So I promise you'll have a really fundamental understanding of it. One quick ground rule, just make sure your phones are silenced. Leave them on because we'll do an example. And also the importance of being present. If you are here for this presentation, actually be here for this presentation. I used to own martial arts studios, and one thing I trained my instructors to say in classes to all the students was, "Wherever you are," and they would shout back, "Be there." Okay, let's try it. Wherever you are, be there. All right, good, you got it. But I learned from a guy named Brendan Bouchard the importance of being present. He says that if you think about any problem you have in your life, business, personal, whatever it is, if you trace it back, you probably weren't present. You know, arguing with your spouse, you weren't present. You know, you missed an opportunity, you weren't present. So just be present. I mean, if I sat here and answered an email while I was talking, wouldn't you think I was a little crazy? Okay, good. Now that we got that out of the way. Let's move on. So we'll talk about how to get, I haven't found a remote, so I'll just come back here every time I want to move it. We'll talk about how to get way ahead of your competition. Who would agree that there's a lot of competition for what you do? There's a lot of people out there that sell the same thing. Well, they think they sell the same thing. They actually think they do it better than you. Everybody agree with that? Okay, good. Some of you don't have any competition. Great. Awesome. All right. That's Mobile Mike. He'll be presenting today. What's that stand for? LOL? Laugh out loud? You know, I would say about 6 years ago, I actually thought that meant lots of love.
That's what I did too.
Imagine the confusion. Imagine the confusion when one of your customers signs LOL.
Yeah.
And she happens to be like a single mother, and you're like, what?
I was sitting at
Something's wrong here.
And I was thinking it was lots of love. You know, it's a good little thing to say. And I said, Dad, why are you always laughing?
Grandma died. LOL. Dad, what are you doing here? Come on now.
Let's talking about that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's Mobile Mike. He'll be presenting today.
Only you and
Every now and then we'll do this. So we got laughing my ass off. Then we have on the floor laughing my ass off out loud. Do that. Wait a minute. Hold on. Here's another one. Oh my God. On the floor laughing my ass off out loud. No, don't worry. You don't have to know these. But if I was talking with teenagers, there's another version of this presentation, totally written in text speak. It's for teens. Just kidding. All right. That's a blank screen. Okay. You met Mobile Mike. This is regular Mike. That's my boss, my wife. And that is not my wife dressed up as Mary Poppins. That actually is Mary Poppins. We finally found a good nanny for the kids. So that was great. That's Julia and Marissa. We were in Disney World. My wife took the picture. I like to joke around, but I do mean business. Craig was talking to me about some of the media stuff. I'm blessed to do some of that and share my message. A few different messages. That's been fun. All right, so here are our goals. Fundamental understanding of mobile marketing, like I promised, you will leave with it. You will know what to do with it, how to embrace it. How to generate leads with mobile marketing. Who agrees that you need leads in business? You need to have people that you can talk to and get introduced to and follow up on and start a dialogue with. Who agrees with that? Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Good. Okay. I'll help you with the tough ones. We'll talk about how to make money with mobile marketing. Who likes to make money? Everybody? Okay, go ahead. Anybody says they don't want to make money will lie about other things too. That's what Zig Ziglar says. And we'll talk about how mobile websites work. Okay? So those are our ground rules. Okay, now before we start on mobile, we have to do just a quick review with some fundamental internet marketing principles. Sadly, I live a lot in the internet marketing world with my own websites where I sell things and generate leads, and also for clients. And unfortunately, what I see are a lot of people who miss certain elements. So we're going to do just a quick crash course review. I got a call yesterday, or actually it was a referral. Really great company out of, I think, Londonderry. You know, they have probably 15 employees. I mean, they've been around for a while. They've grown. And they were missing some fundamental things on their website. Somebody like me looks at that and they said, wow, this company is successful. They're doing pretty good. You know, they're all hustling. And, man, they're missing these things. Imagine if they were doing these things, how much more business they might have. So I find that it's across the board, from solo 1- or 2-person shops all the way up to bigger organizations that you think, man, these people are doing well. They're still missing certain things. So we want to do a quick review on the internet. So there's some internet marketing musts for you to jot down. One thing you got to do on your website is you got to have lead capture offers, and you have to do email marketing. Now, some of you may say, well, geez, not another email. Holy cow. Email marketing done right is very effective. Email marketing done wrong is not effective. There's a writer downer for you. But how you do that, there's a few ways to do that. If you meet somebody, you get their permission to add them to your email marketing list. Again, I can do a whole talk on email marketing I'm not going to go into. Or you generate the lead on your website. And what I was talking about was a lot of websites miss lead capture offers. And this is just a screenshot from one of my websites for our internet marketing business. So there's two ways to capture leads online. Okay, one is, depending on your kind of business, you can offer some sort of instant value, maybe instant coupon for first-time customers that they have to subscribe to. Or you can offer something of information, or both. If you look at this one, this offers information. So we're a web design company, so we go counterintuitive. We say 5 reasons not to hire a web designer. People look at it, they say, well, okay, I got to check that out. So we're going informational, and we throw some other things in there as well. So that's just an example of an informational one. If you want to go informational with lead capture, what you do is you think about things that your customers ask, your clients ask. What are their frequently asked questions? What do they want? And you kind of package that information. You title it properly, and then they'll go for it. Does that make sense? So we want to be capturing leads online. That's the way to do it. Or, like I said, if you're, depending on what kind of business you are, you can offer some sort of first-time valuable coupon that you send them instantly via email. And you always make it clear. We're going to be in touch with you frequently, a few times a week, whatever. If you're going to do email once a month, don't do it at all. It doesn't make sense to do that. Frequency is important. A lot of things, and this is actually what the client call was for yesterday. They wanted a branded Facebook page. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of business owners go out there and they put a Facebook page up, a business page. I'm talking about personal profile, business page. Does that make sense? Everybody see that? But what they don't realize, what you can do is you can customize it. I'm not going to go through the whole Facebook page here, but this is the page you land on initially. But then he's got his coupon tabs, his testimonials. But this is actually his welcome. And if I already like the page, so it would kind of call to action. But then the cool thing, this is an HVAC customer or client in New Jersey. They make appointments right on Facebook. Someone doesn't have to leave Facebook to make an appointment with them to bring them in. A lot of people miss that too. It actually was the call for this company out of London there yesterday was they wanted a branded Facebook presence that can actually do what? What else can you do on your Facebook page? What do you have to do online? Generate what? Leads, right? You can also generate leads on Facebook, which a lot of people miss. A couple more things here. Internet marketing reviews. Do you have a blog for your business? Blogging was the first form of social media. Who's ever heard of social media? Okay, I figured that. Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what question I ask? Okay, good. So blogging was the first form of social media, and you really need to be blogging. 3 types of blogs: written, audio, and video. So you write an article, paste it in your blog, tag it, select some keywords, hit publish. All right. Audio, you record an audio, an MP3. I'm not going to go into how to do that. Video, YouTube, you put that on your blog. Working with a client now, he's a mortgage broker. Lives in Epsom, he's a nice guy. He's way ahead of a lot of mortgage brokers because he's doing video. He's answering questions on video. Now, of course, I'm sure he's limited to what he can say, but he's answering questions. He's saying, here's the first step in home ownership. All right, so you put yourself way ahead of your competition by doing that. Why bother? I don't have time. Search engine optimization. Every time you add a piece of content to your website, the search engines pick it up. It's fresh content. That's what search engines like. Credibility. You're doing it. The next guy's not. The next girl's not. You must know something. Who considers themselves an expert at what they do? You're good at. You should all raise your hand for this one. Holy cow! Jeez. Please. I got here just in time. Credibility. If you're an expert at what you do, you should have something to say. A couple paragraphs a week? That's pretty easy. And again, your competition won't. For the most part, it's fun and you can stand out with it. I'll give you some examples of other things you can do with your blog. You can make your blog look like your website. That's important. That's another screen capture. The whole I'm not talking about blogger.com. I'm talking about actually having your blog as part of your website. Every site we build for a client, we always make their blog part of their website. We will do some questions as we go. What's your question?
Oh, well, I was just going to ask you that. Do you want us to wait till you're done the presentation for that question?
No, we'll make it interactive. Go ahead.
All right.
As long as we don't get too far off track because we want to stay on time.
I just wanted to, that's what I wanted to.
Oh, that was your question? The question was about questions, everybody. Okay, good. No, it's all good. We'll take some questions as we go.
Okay.
Trying to get through the first part of this relatively quickly because we didn't start exactly on time. So video blogging. This is an example of, there's Mobile Mike again. Hi, Mobile Mike. This is an example of actually, we set up these TV sites. So we get like a .tv domain, and that whole domain is meant for, this is actually a pretty new initiative that we're doing. It's Mobile Marketing Tips TV, and it kind of goes into different, maybe twice a month we'll do a new video on mobile marketing. And it's cool. We set it to a different background I live in the Lakes region, by the way. I moved from Philadelphia and New Jersey, and I initially figured that the Lakes region would be a little bit of a slower pace.
Not this time of year.
But not this time of year, but I'll tell you, I got there in February.
You had no idea.
So we moved up, and it was kind of cold, but we got finished with the movers. I said, I'm going to go explore downtown. So I got in my car, I went downtown, I checked things out, and I left my phone in my car. I didn't have my watch on. I was walking back to my car, and I said, I saw someone walking. I was curious to know what time it was. I lost track of time. And I said, excuse me, sir, do you know what time it is? He looked at me, looked at his watch, and he said, it's February. And it was at that moment I knew the time moves slower in the Lakes region. It really does. But yeah, this time of year it gets pretty crowded. So anyway, this is an example of a video blog. Now you can do video, you can do written, you can mix up your blog, video, written, audio, but this is an example of something new we're trying where it's totally, the whole site is dedicated to video blog. So, but it's, you upload to YouTube, you post on your blog, done. It takes, 10 minutes. All right, you can make your blog social too. This is the bottom half of that site. What we do is we plug in Facebook comments to the blog too. So now what do people do? They cruise the web logged into Facebook, don't they? For the most part, a lot of people do that. And don't read the thread, You're trying to read, what were they saying? But this is just an example. You put on your blog, what are your thoughts, and you can get some dialogue going.
Can you start doing that with Google Plus yet, or is that
Yeah, one of the things we have to do is we have to add now the Google Plus icon, and I'm not sure if that's called a, write it down, it's called the Facebook Social plugin. That's what it's called for blogs. I'm not sure if it's for Google Plus yet, but one thing we're doing now for us and like client, this is what keeps, makes you work in this business, is like something new comes up all the time. So now we got to go back and we got to add the Google Plus icons to our sites, client sites, but it shows that we're working for our money, which is a good thing. We like to work. So, all right, let's get going on mobile. You can even make yourself mobile. There's my mobile marketing T-shirt. It's got a QR code on it. I got up, I said, I'm scannable. We'll talk about those in a second. That's just a shot in the mirror, me standing there. I didn't have any fancy photographer do that. I didn't think it was worth it. All right, we're going to get going. So I love this quote. The illiterate of the 21st century is not the person who can't read or write. It's the person who chooses not to constantly learn, unlearn, and relearn. Who thinks it's important to keep learning? Raise your hand. You should all raise your hand. Sometimes you got to unlearn things, right? Things stop working. New regulations in your business. New headaches. And then we got to relearn things, right? A guy named Alvin Toffel said that. Here's another great quote I love. Words from the wise. It was a tuna wrap that I had too, by the way. So, all right. I'm primarily going to, there's a lot of different mobile marketing concepts. I'm primarily going to talk about the mobile internet. And yes, we are staying good on time, so I'm going to invite dialogue as we go. Okay, some questions. So I'm primarily going to talk about the mobile internet, which I don't have the exact stats in front of me. And I have some stats I'm going to show you, but I didn't actually record this one for the presentation. But it was something like, I think right now it's something like 40% of smartphone owners, that's their only access point to the web, is their smartphone. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I love my laptop. I couldn't see cruising. I mean, I use my Android phone all the time. I do research, but I'm not in that percentage where it's the most of my browsing experience. That is crazy, isn't it?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we're going to tell you how it's not going to be frustrating, how you can stand out from your competition, but we're primarily going to deal with the mobile internet. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about, which is basically what? The internet that you connect with through a mobile device. That's what we're going to talk about. And learn how to use it. But we'll touch on some other things when it comes to mobile marketing too. All right. All right, the basics. The very basics. Who's got one of those still? Don't raise your hand. We do have to step up from that?
Yeah.
All right, good, good. We're making progress. All right, but here's the truth. We'll talk about operating systems real quick before we talk about how you started doing mobile marketing years ago. You didn't even know it. Operating systems. Android, right? That's if you didn't know, Android is owned by Google. Google gives away, Android is an operating system that powers, actually, I think, I'm not sure what the exact numbers are, but if they're not bigger than the iPhone, they're quickly becoming bigger than the iPhone. So most people are walking around with Android phones, even though the iPhone is so popular. So you have Android, then you have Apple, which powers the iPhone. Then you have BlackBerry. I had a friend in Philadelphia who was working for BlackBerry and he got laid off. I said, dude, what'd you expect? I mean, just their stock price went from $129 in 2005 or something down to like $20 right now. They're getting crushed in the device market. They're getting killed. You know. And then you have Symbian, actually, which is the software that powers that Nokia makes. Nokia used to be the largest handset manufacturer in the world, but they're not anymore. So the key thing to remember is Google gives away its Android software. All right? And that's an interesting point to remember as we go through this. So you were doing mobile marketing years ago. I know I was. About a year into my business, I realized that the primary source of new customers, people would have to call me, have to come in, meet with me, and get started. The primary source of new customers was the phone. You know, we didn't know what we were doing, but we ran an ad. We bought a list and we sent postcards out. We met somebody, networking, gave them the card. We had signs on our vehicles with our phone number. So the primary source of business was the phone. So I said, the primary source of the business is the phone, and I'm only here from, say, 12 to 8 operating, but I sometimes frequently come and I see missed calls and I see a few voicemails. Well, you know, it makes sense that I'm going to have to suck it up and I was single. You know, I didn't have anything to do. So I answered my phone. How I did that was I forwarded the office line to my cell phone. And man, did I see a jump in business because I did that. Because guess what? My competition wasn't answering their phone. So people were doing research by the phone or the phone book or whatever, just had the epiphany they wanted my type of service that day. They'd start making calls and I'd answer, and some people that didn't fall into that category, they just appreciate the fact that they got to speak with somebody. People want closure. They don't want to have to chase you down. So I use the phone. That's what I think that was my first, you know, and if you do that, or you've been doing that, that's your first step into mobile marketing, really, if you think about it. So, did I see a hand raise? No, I didn't. Good. So I was just making sure they were sure. Okay. But that's the first step. And I set appointments in the car before it was illegal to do so. Yeah, I'm sitting there driving and writing at the same time. It wasn't pretty. I set, well, it's not illegal in New Hampshire, but where I'm from, it is, to talk on your handset. I set appointments, you know, by the pool, at the beach, all kind of places, even in the Oval Office, which I don't have a photo of, don't worry. But I took that phone everywhere and I answered it, you know, and it worked. So now it's kind of the same thing. It's how do you intuitively apply to the next generation. Does that make sense? And that's your next generation there, right? Is that a BlackBerry? That shouldn't be up there. Oh, lone dot. Okay, we got to figure out why there's a lone dot there. All right, some stats. Alert. All right. And you know, the funny thing is these numbers keep changing every day. News keeps changing every day. Yesterday, the news was Google's going to buy Motorola. Why would Google want to buy Motorola? They know that mobile is a big deal. All right. So I would guess that these are probably a little higher. I think this research is from a couple months ago, but it only goes up usually. 140 million smartphones in the U.S. by the end of this year. It'll be more than 50% of all subscriptions. Right now, we're at 96% penetration. So 96% of the U.S. population actually owns a cell phone. Now, out of that, 50% by the end of this year will be smartphones. Some pretty big numbers. And going back to that web, browsing the web, 52% of consumers expect their mobile web experience to be the same as on their laptop. So, when they hit your website through a mobile browser, they just want the same kind of experience and information that they would get. Somebody yelled out that it's frustrating. Who yelled out that it's frustrating? You yelled. What's your name? Chris yelled out that it was frustrating searching on the mobile because a lot of times the site doesn't load quickly. It's just a pain.
I have to keep zooming in because I can't read.
Zoom in, zoom out, zoom in. Yep. So, there's billions of subscriptions worldwide, and Google predicts mobile web traffic will surpass regular web traffic by the end of 2013. What I promise you up front, I said getting ahead of your competition. Most of your competitors, there's three kinds of people in the world. There's some people that make things happen. There's people that watch what happens. And there's people that stand around and wonder, what happened? So your goal is to let all your competitors be in the side of, huh? What just happened? And that's going on right now. So you ask yourself, who's in the first category? Yeah. Also, let's see. We'll get to that side. I think it's on the next slide. But 81 million smartphones were sold in the third quarter of 2010. Double last year's figures. Well, 29's figures, right? And then there's obviously that quote over there from that media outlet. Luth Research talks about the opportunity that's there right now for people to get ahead. Oh, here's my dots. Oh, see that? Why is one bigger than the other? I don't know. Every now and then the PowerPoint freezes, and the joke is that if Microsoft made cars, they would slow down and crash without warning. All right, so let's just make sure we're not... Right.
That's where Microsoft doesn't power any airplane.
There you go. All right, so let's real quick. How to make money with mobile marketing. Everybody stand up. Real quick. Only take a second. I'll show you how to make money with mobile marketing. Everybody turn that way towards that wall. And it's kind of hard for you guys to do it, but reach in the pocket of the person in front of you. No, just kidding. Sit down. Stretch out if you want. That's not how you make money with mobile marketing. But I find it's good to get you up and get the adrenaline moving a little bit. All right, back to work. Google has seen a mobile search volume grow 400% in the last 2 years. Now, put the pieces together. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out, right? They got those stats. They just bought Motorola. They give away their Android software. You think they got people that have good, do some good research and development into where the market's going? I think so. So more users will connect to the internet over mobile devices more than desktops. This one from Morgan Stanley. Ramp up of mobile internet usage will be a boon to consumers, and some companies will likely win big. I'm trying to fit in that category of win big myself. Potentially very big. Actually, I like the potentially very big category better. And I hope you all like that too. While many will wonder, what was that quote? What happened? Now, this woman, Mary Meeker from Morgan Stanley, I don't know her personally, but she was on the team that did the underwriting for the Netscape IPO. Who remembers Netscape? It was the first ever internet browser. She was on the team that did the underwriting for the Netscape initial public offering. She was also on the team that did Google's initial public offering. I think she knows what she's talking about, if she's seen that. Okay. So another question. Now again, sometimes this can be taken out of context. I'm a small business guy, always been. And one thing I would never do is, if I'm speaking to an audience of small business, and I say, you have to market just like the big companies, because that's totally wrong. You're not going to go fly a blimp for your service, over the Monarchs game. Yeah, but I can't even see it anyway because it's inside the stadium, right? So it's inside the arena. So that wouldn't make sense anyway. But you're not going to fly a blimp. You're not going to market like some big company. You got to micro market, not macro market. But the thing to take away from big companies is to see where their research is going, just to pay attention to see what they're doing. Because again, they have people, they pay hefty salaries to do research. Talked to a couple of very successful real estate investors, because they told me, they said they just follow around Walmart. Walmart does the best real estate research in the country. They follow Walmart around. They see where they're going. And that doesn't always work. But sure enough, most of the time, Walmart was right. It's a good area. And it sucks development around it, which sometimes brings their properties a little more valuable, depending on what kind of investments they do. Now, of course, I wouldn't want a house next to a Walmart. That would kind of be a little, go the other direction. But these were commercial investors, by the way. So anyway, what were they doing? They were small business owners piggybacking off the research of a big company. So here's what I'm talking about. Google, Facebook. Many of you are addicted, yes. Target, Walmart. It's a funny thing, Walmart. I have a client in Colorado. He just opened a brand new business, and in the interim, he actually took a position for a company that leased space from Walmart. And he's just going to try it out, see how he run that store inside that Walmart space before he opened his thing, just to see. So it was a pretty cool concept, and he took the opportunity. And he said, Mike, before he was getting ready to start, he contacted me because I worked with him in another business, and he said, I'm going to get my website set up and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, how was the thing with Walmart, Corey? How'd it go? He said, Walmart's got to be like the opposite of Disney. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, Disney's like the happiest place on earth, and Walmart is like the opposite of that. I see. He's like, I had to get out of there, But anyway, what these companies do is obviously Facebook and Google, they're on the forefront of engaging people on mobile devices. Best Buy, Amazon. You can go right to Amazon.com and you can buy a book right from your mobile phone. So what they want to do is something called m-commerce, mobile commerce. You've heard of e-commerce, electronic commerce? Well, they're embracing what's called mobile commerce. Not saying you have to do that, but if you want to sell things online, yes, you have e-commerce, but we also got to start thinking of m-commerce. I've been testing some things out myself with people buying from their mobile devices, having a different version. So that's what the bigger players want to do, and if you're selling things, you want to look at mobile commerce. For the rest of us, we look at lead generation on mobile devices. Does that make sense? Yes? Any questions so far? Comments? Snide remarks? Okay. What's that?
Don't ask for that.
Oh, yeah? You have a bunch?
I'm just curious.
Okay. All right, so really what you think about is how many of your best prospects, that's all that matters, right? All that matters are your prospects. How many of your best prospects have smartphones? Believe it or not, it crashes the age barrier. There is no statistics that say higher concentration of people under 30 or under 35. It goes across all generations in terms of those numbers go and percentages. So we don't want to assume anything either, okay? So they do a lot of research on their mobile phones, as we saw with Google and their stats. All right. So let's talk about mobile websites and how they work. I'm originally a martial arts school owner. I do a lot of work in that industry. Let me just show you a couple things. So when we look at, this is actually a menu for a restaurant in Manchester. So when they do their email marketing, what they do is they send a link to their mobile menu. Because what do they know? They know a lot of their customers are at lunch and, they look like monkeys peeling grapes, right? I heard that on Comedy Central. So they send out their mobile menu in their emails. So they can seamlessly browse their menu and then they can click the button. Anybody feel like sushi right now? No? Okay, good. And they can click the button and just call and place their order. So they get the email or the text message, they open the mobile menu, they browse through it, and they call. Pretty cool. This is an example of a martial arts school, and that's an example of, actually, that same guy is the guy with the Facebook page that I showed you before. But I'm going to just kind of explain to you how these work. With a mobile site, you have to be one with the thumb. Okay, what that means is people are usually browsing with what? They're browsing with their thumb. You're doing it right now. Okay. Still browsing with your thumb. That's what's called a vertical navigation. So what do you usually see on a website? You usually see what? a horizontal navigation, right? Well, that's a vertical navigation because you're with the thumb up and down. Now I know you can switch it to landscape and all that, but that really doesn't matter. You assume that's the way the phone is. The other thing you want to know, aside from the mobile menu, which is very detailed, right? What you also want to assume is I think it's like in the words of Bill O'Reilly, to keep it pithy, keep it short and simple and sweet, is you want to kind of lead with your best 3 or 4. Give you an example. I was doing a presentation for the Lakes Region Chamber of Commerce. Said we'd move a little slower in the Lakes Region. They don't have a mobile site yet. And it takes a little convincing. And so I'm sitting there, and a person that was going to be a guest at the presentation, just to support me, someone I knew, and she's also a member there. And she called at the last second because she thought the presentation was at the chamber office, but it wasn't. It was at another location. And the chamber office was locked. So she's like, all right, let me pull up their website real quick. Real quick. It didn't really go that way. So she pulled up their website, and her phone shut off. Got all hot and shut off. But think about it. If you were them, what would you do? You would have something like upcoming events. So now, switch this experience. They hit the mobile website. She hits the mobile website. She sees real quick, about the chamber, members, upcoming events. Bam, she hits upcoming events, and they listed the event, where it is, and she goes, oh, cool. And instead of being frustrated and stressed, she's pregnant too right now, so you don't want to stress out a pregnant woman. She gets to the event, without any problems. Same thing with them, click to call. That's a big deal. Write that down, click to call. Every mobile site, just that thumb should generate a phone call. So who knows? Maybe now, as there's more people browsing the web, maybe you'll get more phone calls because people are kind of like, oh, let me just call. It connects them right away. So in this case, we have the phone numbers high all the time, except for the menu. We lead with kind of the 3 relevant topics. Coupon, schedule, service are the most important things there, and call now. And what we'll get into is mobile lead generation here, and we got to kind of speed up there. Any questions on that so far?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Shut me up if I'm asking something you're going to say later. But
can I say shut up? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
If you have an existing website, can you convert that to mobile easily?
Yes. I'm glad you said that, by the way. Actually, what I want to do is I want to shake your hand for that. Well, no. Actually, because I forgot to explain how someone gets to a mobile website, so I was glad that it cued that question. So how does someone get to a mobile website? Great segue, by the way.
On a mobile phone.
Right, on a mobile phone. They get there on a mobile phone, but here's what happens. Well, we'll get to that in a second. They search for Google, but here's what happens. What happens is there's different sets of content on your mobile website. Or there should be, anyway. It's not just your website kind of all smooshed around. I mean, imagine, this website all smooshed up and changed, and it's still the same content, this big, long story. What you have to be is a little more succinct. So what you do is you do have, in a lot of big companies, they have a separate mobile site that is laid out differently, the content's a little different. It's like Best Buy. Their description for this TV on their bestbuy.com desktop site is a little more elaborate. It's got a couple more a few videos, and maybe it's got the commercial for the TV. But on their mobile site, it's a little more succinct. The videos, if there is a video there, it's a lot shorter. If there's an image there, it's a lot smaller. Copy, which is the text, the marketing copy, is a lot quicker, right? So, but how someone gets there, this is important. It's called redirect script. Okay? So you build your mobile website. You decide which content is relevant for your mobile site.
You have to build a separate one for your mobile site.
Yes, because again, the content is different, right? On say, take the if I went back, take the martial arts site, right? He might have had about us and kids programs and adults and our style and all this other stuff. But on the mobile site, it's lead with your best 3 usually, because what do you have to assume? They're on the go. They want an answer. They want it now. They want to do some research. And they want a seamless experience. If someone they get your business card at a networking event, and they decide that, that person was pretty, let me go check them out. And they hit your mobile site, they can see certain things, then they could, then they're...
This card is going to list 2 websites, a mobile site.
Nope. Here's what happens. It's called a redirect script. So, for instance, when somebody uses our program to build mobile sites, we give you what's called a redirect script that you give to your web person. And your web person, or you, or whoever, they take that and they put it on your website. When your .com site detects a mobile browser, it serves the mobile version. Okay? Now, who's ever heard of a guy named Dan Kennedy? I don't know. Anybody? You have. Dan Kennedy says something called message to market match. Right? Remember that from Kenny, your Kenny student? Message to market match. That means, you match your message to your market. Or you try your best to. So, fundamentally, serving a mobile website to a mobile browser is a pretty simple message to market match. You're giving the person what they need at that very moment. And you're thinking, is my competitor doing that? Probably not. At least not yet, anyway. Yes, sir?
I've seen some websites, regular websites, that have a button you can click that says if you're looking at this on your mobile device, that's obviously not automatically redirect, but it's another form of redirect. It
is another form of redirect, and in that case, you should assume, because one thing you got to remember online is, especially in a mobile, people are distracted. The old joke is, sorry, officer, I wasn't texting while I was driving, I was surfing the web. People are distracted while they're, so you that's probably not the best way to go, because if they're hitting it from a mobile browser, just give it to them. Why link and choose? What's the point? Yes?
But I would say it's also important from your mobile browser to give them the option to get to the full site.
You could do that. You can do
that don't, where you need to access something.
Well, it depends. You have at that point you have to segment your market. You're in real estate? Okay. So you have to segment your market. And I'll show you some examples real quick. So mobile lead generation, I'll show you a couple examples. Click the call. Sorry, go back. Wait. All right. So I'm saying wait, like wait for me, Mike. So in this case, that's another example of martial arts school. He actually has a quick mobile, this is like a mobile landing page. He offers a quick, quick 2 weeks free or something like that for this particular site. So I'll show you a couple examples. But fact of the matter is, it's frustrating. Okay, just like the Chamber of Commerce example. I'm actually glad that happened, because it's a great story. What happens? Crash. Ah! All right. So, all right. Let's show you some more examples here, and we'll get back to mobile stuff. So let's talk about quick QR codes. Everybody seen one of those? I kind of feel like it's like the red Honda Accord. You buy a red Honda Accord, and all of a sudden everybody's got one. Well, everywhere I look, I see QR codes now. So that stands for quick response codes. Actually, these have been around for a long time, but the proliferation of smartphones have making them a lot more useful here. Now, of course, not everybody's using them yet. It's like a fax machine. You needed a fax machine on the other end for it to work. All right, but they're called quick response codes. And what you want to do is you want to combine them with mobile landing pages, and one of the key things is offline marketing. This is kind of the revival of print in a lot of ways. Okay, because you can now use your QR codes to take someone right from their smartphone in your print marketing. I just did a couple pieces myself. I sent out some postcards to a list we generated online, and I sent out a QR code there as a call to action. You have one on your business card. Very good. I have one on my T-shirt. All right. I did a sales letter recently. Just like I said, this is just pillars, guys. It's not like a whole new brand. It's a way to enhance everything. I did a sales letter recently. One of the calls to action, you can either visit this website or scan this QR code. Or call me. Give them 3 ways to respond. So you want to combine, that's another martial arts example. That's my body, and I had to Photoshop the guy's head on, So that's just a postcard as an example. You send a postcard out and you give them a response. This is a print ad. Real estate friends. Take a virtual tour. One of the things that we have now in our program is what we call a landing page generator and unlimited QR code generator. So I think it's really cool. What a real estate agent can do is they can actually generate specific virtual tour pages for any home that they might be listing. And they can create a page, and they can then embed a YouTube video. So now the smartphone browser that can scan the MLS sheet or can scan the sign, and then they can take a virtual tour right on their phone. Because you build a landing page, 125 Main Street, da-da-da-da-da-da. You embed the video, take the tour. Hey, why don't you call me when you're done watching? By the way, if you like this house, click that call button below. You put your phone number there, right? Pretty cool. So, but anyway, it's a way to just bring your marketing in sync. Like I said, I'm a big fan of print. I mean, geez, I've written a few books, so why shouldn't I be, right? But the biggest sin with QR codes, I was in Portsmouth, and I'm going to be wrapping up soon here. I was in Portsmouth a few weeks ago. We went to Water Country. And again, it was like that red Honda Accord again. I saw my 6-year-old Julia. You know, she's a water park freak. You know, she wants to hit every water park everywhere we go. We were in Disney in November. We had to hit Blizzard Beach, but it was actually pretty nice. It was warm. But they have to lead to what we call either mobile squeeze pages or mobile landing pages. Getting back to the Portsmouth story, I clicked on the brochure of Water Country, and it took me to their homepage. Their regular desktop homepage. You know, I'm like, and it's got a video there that's not showing because it doesn't show the kind of video format they have. Does not show up on my screen. I can't read anything. What you need is a call to action. You know, why not? Here, go on this thing right now to get on our special blah, 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 or whatever the case may be. Just to get that interaction, get that person's contact info, to get them into your fold. So that's a big sin I see, is people not directing QR codes to mobile pages. You know, what's the point? Get heated about that. Yes?
How many smartphones have QR code readers?
Most of the new ones have it, but most of them you just go download one. It's a free app, yeah. It's a free app. You go to the market and you just download one. Like, I forget which one I'm using now, but I used to use something called Quick Mark, and then I started using a different one.
I've got Google Glass.
Yeah. So it depends on what you're. They all have them, and like I said, think about this: 50% of all cell phones will be smartphones by the end of this year. All the new phones will have QR codes built in. What will people be doing more and more of in the future with those phones? Scanning QR codes. Okay. Right now, they might not be scanned, but this is an example of, you say this flooring company ran a print marketing campaign for tile, then they can push people over to the into the mobile landing page that gives a report on tile. They get their name, their email, their phone number, and they get to call them up and say, "Hey, you got our tile report. Awesome. Can I help you?" Yes, one more question before we get moving.
It's just more of a comment. You just made a really strong point for your whole deal. Is that these new phones coming with the QR code readers already on them, everybody's going to want to try them right off.
Yeah, there you go.
If you get the QR code out there, people are going to, marketing is...
There'll be a short window where people will want to scan it just to scan it, right?
Exactly.
But yeah.
Marketing is getting people to discriminate in your favor.
Right. I like that.
QR code, they're going to discriminate in your favor because they want to try the damn thing.
Right. So this is an example.
You might get just because of that.
Yeah, totally. Good observation for sure. But yeah, they have to go to mobile landing page. That's a martial arts landing page. I'm not going to play this, but this was a segment I did all about internet marketing on Fox, and I actually had the mobile stats built in, but the segment went over too long, and I cut it out the last minute. And I'm going to show you one other cool thing that's pretty neat, because it's instant, okay? Because I want to talk to you real quick about text message marketing. Don't worry about this. That wasn't supposed to show up. All right, but let me show you text message marketing. Real quick, a quick crash course. Text message marketing basics. It's all permission-based. You can't just load a bunch of phone numbers into your broadcast software and hit them with messages. You get their permission. I'll show you how to do it in a second. You make offers. We went shopping at the outlets. I live off exit 20. Went shopping at the outlets. We had a corporate coupon for iZod and one of the other companies that iZod owns. So we had like 40% off, and then we got another $5 instant off by joining their text message club. Right there. So we got like 40% off and then $5 off. I forget what store it was. I think it was Van Heusen. My wife and I got a suit. I got a suit, a belt, and she got a dress, all for $120 with the 40% and like the $5 off coupons and all that stuff. Good deal, right? So anyway, it's just an example. They got me right there. They made an offer. Now I get text messages from iZod. So what? I look at them. If I want something, I'll buy it. If not, I won't. All right. So long codes and short codes. You can actually send broadcast text to long 7-digit numbers, 10-digit numbers, but that's not very common, but it's cheaper to actually do it. The other thing is short codes. Those little 5-digit things. You guys ever see those? Those are what's common in the small business world, and what's common, write this down, is a shared short code. To have your own short code, you have to go through an aggregator, you have to go through all this other compliance crap, you have to lease it for like $500 a month. Then, no, you don't want to do that. You get what's on the shared short code, and other businesses use the short code. You have what's called a keyword on that short code. And there's two ways to use it. One way is broadcast, where as you build your list, Say you're building a list of prospective home buyers that are on your list. You know they want to buy at some point. Well, maybe twice a month or something like that, you can say, by the way, we got some new listings, yada, 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 whatever. You know, something like that. You can broadcast out a message, or you can do what's called an auto reply. I'll show you an example if you guys want to go through it. If you text gift from Mike to 90210, you'll see an example, actually how it works. So, and what will happen there is you'll get a reply back with a link to a mobile site. And then here's why you want to do that. You can actually get my PDF of the PowerPoint. So you can actually text gift from Mike to 90210. It'll give you a link to a mobile site. This is an example of a reply. A link to a mobile site. And then if you follow that link, it'll show you how to get the PDF of the presentation. So what I just do, I just offered you something as a reason. So not so much to say, hey, go do that, please. I don't really care if you do or not. But you give a reason for someone to text in. In Izod's case, instant $5 off. In my case, get my PDF. Does that make sense? All right, almost done. Winding down. Any questions so far? Other things with mobile? Location-based marketing. I was just reading the New Hampshire Business Review yesterday. I forget who he is. Is it Jim Bender? Who's the guy who ran for Senate? Jim Bender, I think. Anybody follow politics? Benny. Bill Benny, Jim Bender. There's one of those names. And he started a company with a new mobile app that's location-based. So he wants to sign up all these local retailers, you know, like big company retailers, like, you know, the Walmarts, Targets of the world. And now, you know, when that person who's opted into his app and then the store, so they have to be both, right? You have to sign up for the app as a consumer, and you have to sign up as a retailer. And if I walk in a certain proximity of Walmart and they want to push out a deal at that particular time, and I'm in that area, and I'm opted in permission-based, I'll get the deal. Does that make sense? That's called location-based marketing. It uses the GPS tracking on your phone. Okay, so that's location. And then there's actually mobile PPC, which stands for pay-per-click. Has everyone ever heard, easy for me to say, has everyone ever heard of Google AdWords? Okay, there's a company called AdMob, which is also owned by Google, and they're the biggest mobile pay-per-click company. They sell ads on mobile devices. And so there's other ways to do that. You know, again, going back to Google, why they give it away is because they know where this is going. So as small business people, you may not say, well, you know, I'm going to do location-based marketing. Maybe I'll do text message marketing. But one thing you could do is you could think about your website strategy and having a mobile version of it, right? Just the best practice. Give your customers what they want. You could think about having mobile-specific, what we call landing pages that are designed for your specific campaigns that you're running. And you could think about generating QR codes and stuff like that. Yes, you can think about text message marketing. You can think about virtual tours. There's all kind of possibilities. But the very basics are definitely the mobile website, the pages that go with any other marketing that you're doing to extend on that message. I mean, you're limited in print to what you can do on that postcard or that direct mail or that space ad. But when you open that up to a mobile page, and then you can also, you know, again, if you track, we've tracked about 20% of people hitting our customers' websites through mobile browsers. And that's a lot more than it was last year. And that was a while ago we checked. I'm sure it's a little higher now. So mobile versions of the website that are built a little differently that get served up. So that's really where you really do start with mobile. So real quick, what I'll do is I'll show you how to do that real quick, and then I'll stick around for a few minutes. Do me a favor and just, why not start over here? How many are we here? 10? Just pass those down. Thank you. Just follow along with me here real quick, and I'll just show this to you. That's the login. You basically build your site, and it shows you on the phone what's happening. And it's like 5 steps. You upload a banner, which is an image. Right? That's your banner, your logo. You enter a number, click the call number. You choose your navigation, what you want your buttons to be. You add a form to capture leads. Right? So people hit that, can get into your funnel. And then you hit publish. And you have a mobile site. It's pretty simple. It's 5 steps. When you're done that, and you're running specific campaigns, what you can do is you can generate what we call landing pages. New listing comes up. Let's do a page just for that listing. New promotion we're doing. Let's do a page just for that promotion. And then you can also generate your QR codes too. You click on it and save it, and it's done. So you can do that. Was something we just added, and we're in the process of finishing up the addition where you generate those pages.
You do this on your phone?
What's that?
You do this on your phone?
No, I'm old-fashioned that way. Well, I don't know what you mean. Oh, you build on your phone? No, you build it on a desktop.
Oh, on a desktop?
Yeah, you build on a desktop. It would probably be a little more expensive if we built it where you can actually build it on your phone. No, you still have to break out the laptop.
You do this right on your...
You do it on your laptop. You build right on your laptop. Yep. So.
$47. You have a
Yep. Yep.
What?
Yeah, I'll show you that. You're always ahead of me. We've got to do this presentation together. But designers will charge anywhere from $400 to $1,000. We usually charge $299. If somebody says, Mike, another time, can you build our mobile site for us? We'll charge about $299 to do it because obviously they know we got the shortcut with the software, so it doesn't take us long. But we have some clients that are really busy. But some designers, I've priced it $400 to $1,000. You don't want to do that. Usually I charge about $97, and the cool thing is the ability to generate the landing pages and the QR codes ongoing. It's ongoing mobile marketing. You're not just putting your site up once and just paying a bunch of money for hosting. You get to use it as part of your marketing. Usually if you go online, it's like $97 to start, but when I do speak, I do offer it for $50 off, which is $47. If you guys want to do that while I'm here, I'm sure none of you figured that I was on a strictly benevolent mission with no purpose of financial gain for myself or my family. If you assume that, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, I have a great product, and if you want it, it's very simple. It's pretty affordable, too, at $47 a going. And all proceeds benefit hungry children, Julia and Marissa. But I do have 3 of my books with me, so if you guys want to get it, I do throw in the $20 book with it as well. We have a QR code on the back, too. So I'll be here. I'll stick around if you guys want that. That's what I got for you, okay?